Thank you for joining the session. Now I will be a little relaxed because the topic what we is coming up is a completely different thing. Okay, so I would like to invite Mr. Samir Kaiwar. Uh, the topic today is the algorithm can't lead. Why human wisdom still matters in digital supply chain. So it's now about the human wisdom part. So I think this is very critical. Everybody is talking about technology, the process, and everything. Now let us talk about something about people and wisdom. Okay. So let me give an introduction to Samir ji. Mr. Samir is a dynamic and visionary leader with over 30 years of experience in driving business excellence across diverse industries. As a founder of Effulgent Leadership Studio and former executive director at Pearl Beverages Limited, he brings a wealth of leadership expertise spanning strategic planning, financial management, operational turnaround, and talent development. Known for his ability to inspire and transformation. And I'm really inspired by your post, Samirji. Very insightful, very thoughtful, and also very useful. Okay, so I will be very happy to witness what you say today, Samirji. Welcome to the show, Global Strategy Supply Chain Excellence Summit. So over to you, Samir.
Thank you, Mr. Kader, and I'm really honored to be here today. And I just want to thank everybody who is taking that time and investing that time in participating in today's session. Before I begin, I have one disclaimer and a bit of a preamble. I am not a supply chain expert, so I may not be able to add value in terms of the supply chain expertise, but I am only here to share my experience. And I know that all of you are already highly experienced. So I am just using this opportunity where we can actually discuss and talk and interact and share whatever we have. It is a learning opportunity for me as well. Okay, give me a minute. I'll just share my screen. Yes, is it visible?
Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up.
Oh, great, fine.
It is
Okay,
coming up.
now a bit of a preamble. In the past days, we had this, not past days, even today, we have this that can see everything, that knows everything, that controls everything. That entity is called the Almighty. And today we have an entity which can see everything, which knows everything, which controls everything. And this entity is called the algorithm. The Almighty is divine. The Almighty is divine. The algorithm is digital. The Almighty demands faith. The algorithm demands data. Unfortunately, what is happening is we have started bowing down to the algorithm. We have started mistaking the algorithm with the Almighty. So, what I'm going to talk about really is this. This is irreplaceable. Human wisdom is something that cannot ever be replaced. So, whatever the algorithm does, the human wisdom will do better. Okay, this is my name, etc., whatever. Okay, so let me start. We are now being ruled by dashboards. I mean, everything is about a dashboard. We enter our office, we start our laptop, and there it is. Okay, right from even the calendar which we have is like a dashboard for us, and onto the more complex things. But at the end of the day, it is our wisdom that is going to decide. Data will only give us data. Data will only give us information. Data will only give us knowledge. But data can never give us wisdom. That wisdom is what is the key to the success of everything that we as human beings do today. Algorithms are everywhere. Literally, algorithms are everywhere. I mean, whether it is medicine, whether it's law and justice, entertainment. I mean, Netflix, you see one movie, it'll keep giving you options of similar type of movies. There are algorithms in our cars. There are, of course, our phones. We don't know whether it is a tool or whether it is a weapon, but it is a phone. Offices, shopping. Oh my God. I mean, you go to a shopping website, you just look, once you look for a pair of shoes, everywhere you will start seeing shoes, 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 shoes. Okay. And then, of course, police, law enforcement, everybody is using algorithms. People are scared. Let's face this. I mean, this is a fact of life. People are terrified. There are so many horror stories going on out there that AI is going to take over the world. AI is going to. But let me tell you, if we go back a few thousand years, when man first encountered fire, of course they were terrified. And they learned to control fire, they learned to utilize fire, they learned to make fire as a tool for everything. And today in our daily lives, from simple cooking in our homes to very complex internal combustion engines to rocket ships which are going up into space, we have learned to master fire. Few years later, there was electricity. Again, people were scared. What is this? What is this new form of energy? What will it do to us? So on and so forth. In fact, there is a story of one minister inaugurating a hydroelectric project, and he was telling the farmers, see, the electricity will get extracted from this water, so your crops will not have the energy to grow. I mean, that was the level of information and education as far as electricity was concerned. But we have got over all that. In more recent times, late 80s, early 90s, every desktop started having a computer. And in those days, I was heading the IT department. It used to be called EDP, Electronic Data Processing. And my guys came to me, sir, what is this? What will you do? Everybody's got their own computer now. I said, don't worry. Whether it is payroll, whether it is attendance system, whether it is accounting, they will need a computer and they will need somebody with computer expertise. So I farmed out my 10 or 12 people, put some in stores, some in accounts, some in HR. And believe me, they did such a good job. They were able to help that staff of that particular function into actually developing systems and software to help them with their jobs. So yes, we are at that stage today when AI is something new, we don't have knowledge and we are scared. And why are they terrified? Why are we terrified? We have no control. I mean, you subscribe to an AI system, you don't know what is going on about it. In fact, this is something we have experienced when we went into ERP. If we needed a change or a modification in the ERP, we had to get back, we still have to get back to the supplier. It doesn't work like that. We need to know how to modify and control whatever system we purchase. We have to insist with the supplier. There has to be transparency. Job displacement. This is big. I mean, the IT world today, young people and not so young people are getting displaced. This is a fact of life. Big corporations, big tech corporations are downsizing. They are sacking people. And AI is taking over. But at the end of the day, you will not lose your job to AI. You will lose your job to a person who is using AI better than you. Okay, keep this in mind. So our knowledge and we have to upskill to be able to master AI. Of course, surveillance and manipulation. This is big. I mean, today my phone knows everything that I do. What time I wake up, when I go for my walk, when I come back, what type of workout am I doing, how many hours I'm sleeping. I mean, everything. We are being surveillanced 24 hours a day. Okay. We are living with it. In fact, we are voluntarily, we subscribe to apps, we subscribe to fitness apps, we subscribe to so many apps, which are actually adding more and more surveillance into our daily lives. And then there is this bias. Okay, I'll give you a very recent example. Everybody is saying that on the 2nd of August, there's going to be a big solar eclipse and the world is going to be plunged into darkness. But that 2nd of August is not 2025. That 2nd of August is 2027. But now all these chatbots and AIs and everything has taken over and they're spreading this information, misinformation, whatever you like to call it. But they are doing it at a scale. They are doing it at a scale. So this is one of the risks that we are facing today. And then have we built something smarter than us? Please note that this is the only bullet point on this sheet which has a question mark. No. And the answer to this is no. Nothing can be smarter than human beings, and it never will be. Every day, every time, it has to be the human who is going to lead the final decision. And I will talk a lot about two big supply chain disruptions that happened. One was COVID and one was the Suez Canal. I will keep circling back to that. So you will have to bear with me on this because we have all experienced both of these. Of course, always the unethical people, the crooks of the world, take to technology much better and much faster than the ethical and integral people. Oh God, sorry, what's happened? Here we are. Okay, now this is a long list, and let me tell you, I myself have been victim to one of these online scams, and I lost almost 3 lakh rupees, and there's nothing we could do about it. I mean, all this cyber police and all these guys, they went around tracing, but their servers were located in some foreign countries and in some unknown places. So that money got lost. So these are just like when we have fire or electricity, we take precautions, we utilize it. Same thing with AI. We need to take precautions in order to derive its full utility. But with every system, there will always be a human. You will always go to a doctor, no matter how much. I mean, doctors are also getting irritated by the fact that their patients are going to Google first and then coming to them. But end of the day, it is the doctor who will give you the diagnosis, not ChatGPT, not Google. The judge will deliver the verdict. You will have to go to an advocate. You will have to go to a lawyer. Your AI or your chatbot will give you all the history of all the judgments of that similar type of cases. Ultimately, the advocate will have to present the case. He will have to use his best judgment on how to present the case, and the judge will deliver the verdict. The leader, of course, has to deliver the promise. No matter how much we have AI in entertainment, it is the actor who will deliver the script. It is the actor who will finally entertain you. And it is the dedicated police officer who will have to use his brain, his intelligence, his wisdom to solve the crime. The algorithm will take you to the edge, but the human will take you across. What has happened is that algorithm has slowly but surely entered and pervaded our lives. Okay, we stopped asking why. If our dashboard is showing red, then it must be red. Okay, we are, as humans, we love to be in the comfort zone. So why take a risk? Why take a chance? You can always tell your boss, sir, the dashboard is showing this. That is why I have done it. Okay, it that human courage to sometimes go against the dashboard when required needs to be there. Okay, we have to challenge the assumptions. We have to question. It is not always correct. Okay, strategy has become a reaction, whereas in the past days, from the strategy, we used to derive the algorithms. Now what has happened is from the algorithms, we are deriving the strategy. The algorithm is telling us this is the status, this is the situation. Now let us plan the strategy. No, make your strategy, look into the algorithm, let it give you back the data. And I'll come to that from whatever experience I have. Okay. Of course, we like to be obedient, so we obey whatever the dashboard is saying. Convenience is becoming a compulsion. Not only does the algorithm learn our habit, it also decides our choices. They push us towards easier decisions because, like I said, everyone wants to be a comfort zone. And there is an element of decision fatigue. So, very conveniently, we just follow whatever our dashboard, whatever our algorithm is saying. And of course, once we defer our human values to AI, definitely leadership is going to suffer. The more convenient the world becomes, I just want to spend a little time on this. We all use Google Maps, right? And my wife is particularly fond of this. So when the Google Maps lady says go right, and I don't go right because I have driven on the route before, and I know that by going right, we will end up in a very narrow, congested lane, and it won't be good for us. And you have to argue and to explain to your wife, you really, really need courage, okay? So to tell her, no, I will go by the second route, I will circle around, I will come back, okay? But if we rely, and just today I was reading that one couple got, their car went into a river because they were blindly following Google Maps, okay? So that is something we can never do. We must have the foresight, we must have the wisdom, we must be able to defy and question what AI is telling us. The machine has become so powerful that it is able to actually train us back. Okay. And this happens a lot when in the past days we used to have numerical controlled machines. And if the quality was going off and if the reject percentage was increasing, the alarm would ring, the line would stop. And this used to happen a lot in the night shift because the line engineer knew that tomorrow morning my boss is going to ask me, why is your production low? So what he would do, he would bypass the alarm to keep the line running and make sure that he got the desired productivity. Okay. So this happens in inventory management also. And this is not human wisdom. This is human shortcut. This is human folly. This is human foolishness. Okay. So what is happening is that the algorithm is actually training us to take shortcuts. And of course, what we measure finally measures us. This is a fact of life. This is where the algorithm breaks down. And let me come to this. We all know what happened in COVID. There is no data, there is no algorithm, there is no software that could predict COVID. And once it happened, everybody came in. I mean, it's not that I think there were heroes in COVID. There were people who actually worked day and night and somehow or the other, saw that their companies and their organizations got over this, so many hurdles. Okay. But AI could never have predicted it. AI could never have predicted the Suez Canal blockade. Okay, it happened. After that, in hindsight, you can gain a lot of wisdom and you can keep feeding it into the algorithm about the tides, about the currents, about the wind speeds, about so many things, about the size of the vessels, about the weight of the vessel, so on and so forth. But ultimately, there are issues, there are black swan events, as they say, that no AI can predict, and that is where the human intervention is indispensable. Now, let me come to this. There are three attributes which only humans can deliver. Okay. And the first one is trust. Okay. Now, we say, yes, I trust my software, I trust my machine, I trust my algorithm, I trust my dashboard. But no, that is not trust. That is reliance. You rely on your software, you rely on your dashboard. Trust is purely a human emotion. Trust is purely a human attribute. And if we mistake relying and trusting, believe me, you will get lost. Relying is transactional. Trust builds over time. It is stationary, it is still, it is silent. The second attribute is culture. No AI can build the culture of an organization. It is just not possible. I mean, if I sit with ChatGPT and ask him to design a document for the culture of my company, I think ChatGPT will shut down. They cannot do it. Okay. And the third is responsibility. Only humans can take responsibility. Only humans can say, yes, I messed up. This thing broke down because I made a mistake. I will correct it. I cannot imagine that the dashboard will tell you that it's made a mistake. Definitely not. Okay. So these are the three things which only humans can deliver. No machine can do this. Just to summarize, trust is not computed, it's earned. If a machine fails, it's a glitch. If a leader fails, people are betrayed. Culture cannot be coded. There are no SOPs for culture. It is how we treat our people. Our people respond to us. That is culture. Responsibility is not programmable. I mean, you can't have a software saying, yes, I made a mistake. No. Okay. Once you sign a purchase order, right or wrong, it is you who has to explain to the management. Okay. So trust, culture, and responsibility are the three things which only human beings can bring into the system. Let me talk about the four pillars of leadership because ultimately, and I'm not talking about leadership as in, okay, you're a CEO or you're a director or you're some, no, everybody is a leader. Some people, maybe they are leaders of small groups, some people are larger groups, some people, even in families, in your family, you're a leader. Okay. So what do we have? Presence over panic, connection over control, purpose over process, and foresight over forecast. These are the four pillars of sound and profound leadership. Human wisdom is not a weakness. Human wisdom is actually your edge. Let me talk a bit about this presence over panic. And let me tell you a very deeply personal experience. Uh, my wife and I were young, and our firstborn daughter was around 4 months old. We were in a nuclear family, living away from our parents. And suddenly, at about maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, my daughter, she was around 4 months old at that time, her nose started bleeding. Of course, there was panic. I mean, my wife was hysterical because, firstly, it's a firstborn. I mean, as parents, you have no such experience. And I mean, seeing a lot of blood around is highly unnerving. Nevertheless, we were living, the house owners were an elderly couple. Those were the days when there were landlines. Those were the days when every house didn't have a phone. And, there were so many black spots in communication. So my wife knocked at the door of the house owners, and that elderly lady came down and she saw this little girl, and she picked her up, put a small pillow under her neck so that her head was tilted backward. And sure enough, within a few minutes, the bleeding stopped. We cleaned up the mess or whatever XYZ. But the way she did it with such calm, and then, okay, it's done, it's over. No, she stayed with us. She stayed the whole night. She was not a doctor. She was not a MD. She was not a MBBS. She was not a DCH. She was nothing. She was just a lady who owned the property which we had rented. She stayed with us the whole night. She went back to her kitchen. She brought tea and biscuits for us. And she was there till the morning, till it was time for me to start getting ready to go to the office. Okay. That is presence. In a panic situation, you have somebody who is calm and who is in control. It has such a soothing effect on the team. Okay. That lady was there. I mean, if you read this list, you will be able to actually relate to my experience, which I'm talking about. Each and every bullet point fits into that experience, which is why I have brought it up today. And calm is the most valuable resource whenever there is panic. Okay. And algorithms are expert at creating panic. Okay. I mean, if one supplier doesn't deliver on time, there will be alarms ringing. If you have not received a payment from a distributor, the alarm bell will start ringing. Okay. Panic will start happening. Questions will start being asked. There will be meetings being called and so on and so forth. Okay. And the next is connection over control. This takes me back to the COVID days when, people were not moving out of houses. I was working in a soft drink company, and our product has a best before date. We had built up stock because to prepare for the season, and so had our distributors. And suddenly there was a lockdown. Stocks were lying. Somehow we had to move the stocks. I had to, we needed passes for movement. So the collector of the district was the only person authorized. So I put on my mask and gloves and this and that and whatever precautions it took for COVID. And I ventured out. I crossed all the checkpoints. I told them I'm going to meet the collector, going to meet the collector. Finally, we went. And why I'm talking about connection here in this context is that when I walked into the collector's office, I realized that I had had so much interaction with this person when he was in another department. And immediately he recognized me. I mean, that was connection. Immediately it happened. And I told him I need 40 passes because we had to move stocks from factory to distributor. We had to move stocks from distributor to the retailers. It was a big challenge. And there you are. I said, sir, I need 40 passes. He said, I can't give you 40 passes. Not possible. I can give you 10. Finally, we negotiated. He gave me 20. That got the trucks moving from the factory to the distributors. The curfew was relaxed from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Our trucks had to go out and deliver stocks to the retailers. What used to take a full day had to be done in 3 hours. So we made a plan that, okay, we will take orders. The trucks will not touch all the outlets. They will go to limited outlets. Outlets were also closed because the owners had left for their villages or whatever. So whatever outlets were open, we will touch those outlets. Balance outlets, we will take orders for the next day. We will deliver. So that brought down the workload and also brought down the time required. And I took it upon myself with, of course, there was a lot of protestation from my family to be there with the team when all this was happening. I used to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning, making sure that the trucks are going out on time. Nothing else, just being there was enough to show them that, okay, I am there for you. Okay. So that is connection over control. If I sat in my house and picked up the phone and started shouting, that would not have served the purpose in those very, very critical and crucial days. And then we talk about purpose. No machine, no algorithm, no AI, nothing can have a purpose. I mean, I use ChatGPT to a large extent, but ChatGPT has no purpose. I mean, whatever you ask it, it will throw back at you. It is just a more sophisticated and detailed form of Google. Okay. Whenever there is ambiguity, whenever there is a cloud, it is your purpose that is going to guide you through that. I mean, let's look at it this way. Modern aircraft have the maximum of technology loaded into them, but still we have pilots because pilots know the purpose. Number one is safety of themselves, of the passengers, and of the aircraft. Number two, the second purpose is to make sure that they reach the destination. Okay, so that purpose cannot be substituted even if you load the aircraft with technology. Yes, they have autopilot once it's at cruising height, so on and so forth. They have all this, but during landing and during takeoff, the human pilots have to be in control. Okay, there can be no rule book, there can be no algorithm, there can be no software to do that. Leadership without purpose is just performance. Remember that there has to be a purpose in whatever you do. And once we know why, we will know how to do it. Foresight over forecast. Coming back to COVID, 20 and 21 were two COVID years. And at the end of 2021, we had to sit together and plan the sales forecast for 2022. We, of course, fed all the data into, we had around 55 SKUs and around 250 distributors, which meant almost 13,000 data points. So what was happening was that whenever we wanted a compound annual growth to take us into the next year as a benchmark, this 21 and 22 used to skew the data completely. And we were ending up with some ridiculous numbers. So finally, I called in the teams, whatever leadership teams they were. I made them sit down, made them break it down into first a total, then SKU wise, then distributor wise. Now here comes the foresight. After having suffered such a lot of health issues during COVID, it was quite clear that because I was in soft drinks, that families and mothers will avoid the carbonated part of the portfolio, the fizzy drinks. They will go for juices, they will go for water, they will go for non-carbonated. So nothing could, no AI could have forecast that because forecast is based on past data. Foresight is based on what you can see in the future. I used whatever knowledge I had, brainstormed, discussed, and we decided, yes, we will focus on this part of the portfolio. And sure enough, 2022, our juice percentage of the mix shot up to the extent that we had to invest in two lines to take care of that additional demand. Okay, so no AI could have told us that, not possible. And as I said, forecast is for the past, foresight is for the future. Here we go. The algorithm is highly limited. Okay, it is all about data. It is all about uh, the algorithm is like a greedy animal, only eating data, 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 giving back information maybe, but it cannot give you knowledge. It is humans who have to decide from their knowledge what is going to happen. It simulates. It doesn't talk about, it doesn't connect people. It will ring the alarm, it will ping you, it will do this, it will do that. But what happens if there is fear? What happens if suddenly there is a strike? What happens if suddenly there is a flood? We have all seen this in our various professional lives. There are sudden happenings which happen. And I can tell you one thing, days before AI were much easier because there was a challenge, there was a hurdle, everybody would jump in, we would all go there, we would be present, we do everything that would happen. Now what is happening is half the team is only looking at their laptops, looking at their mobile, looking at what is actually going to attack the problem. Okay. And let me tell you, all FMCG companies, they have given a handheld device to their frontline salesmen who go to the shops to book the orders. And that is a lot of data. And that data uh, enables us to know that, okay, which outlet has bought which SKU, why, how many days he's not bought, and so on and so forth. But if your frontline salesman starts to fudge and he starts to take shortcuts, then there will be a lot of trouble. Okay. Therefore, whatever your algorithm is giving you is whatever you feed into it. So all I'm saying is the algorithm is highly limited. One minute's got stuck. Okay, like I said, the algorithm can run the system, but only you can read the moment. And finally, the most advanced algorithm is already at our disposal. It has always been at our disposal, and it will always be at our disposal. So please don't panic, please don't worry. And that advanced algorithm is human wisdom. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Uh, Fantastic presentation, Samirji. So thank you very much. Uh, uh, there is one comment from Alex Borg. Yeah. So just a comment. What a wisdom presentation. Most of the time we speak about the technology in these presentations. Mr. Samir has managed to find right mix to listen to wisdom presentation. So it's very, very, very insightful lecture. Yeah. So you try to balance and also give a importance of the wisdom part, okay? The human part of the whole ecosystem,
Yeah.
which I think nobody talks nowadays. Okay, so they think that everything technology, people talk about the tools, techniques, and everything. They don't talk about the other part of it, and which is maybe is are they taking it for granted? The wisdom part of it, and only is that the reason, especially the young generation who are the initial level of the uh, careers in supply chain or any other domain. If they ignore, what happens after maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? Samirji, what do you think the people should do now to balance?
See, one thing we have to accept that uh, whatever this world is today, this is it. We have to live, we have to adapt, and we have to utilize. I mean, I think it would be foolish if we try to fight it and we try to tell the younger generation, all this is stupid, don't do this. And I mean, as old people and our previous generations were always telling us also that what you're doing is stupid. And it goes on. That is the law of nature. Okay. But at the same time, we have to enforce a value system. I won't say enforce, it's a very strong word, but we have to inculcate a value system wherein the younger generation realize that just data is not going to get them anywhere. There has to be human. I mean, this is again a fact of life. Children are using chat GPT to do their homework. It's happening.
It's
Okay.
happening.
And what do you do? I mean, what do you tell your teenage son or daughter? Don't use it? No. You have to show them a better option. You have to show them that what is contained in their books, finally, that is going to come in the exam. You can do your homework with ChatGPT, but when you go and
Yeah.
sit for the exam, where will ChatGPT go? What you imbibe from your books and what you carry into the exam, that is what is going to last. It's okay for today's homework so that you avoid the teacher's displeasure tomorrow. But to develop yourself long term, and then, I mean, this is what we have to do. They've stopped going out to play. I mean, just imagine children are not playing anymore. They are
Correct.
glued to their laptops and to their mobiles. Okay, so somewhere down the line, I'm not saying we have to nudge them, because they must be in the fresh air. They must talk. The social interaction has almost finished. I mean, what are we talking about? All their friends are Facebook friends. Okay, or they play these weird games online, and all their friends are their online gaming friends. Where do they play football? Where do they play cricket? Where do they play basketball? So somehow it is our duty as parents, grandparents, whatever, to inculcate these values. I think Alex wants to say something,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
You can unmute, Alex.
Yes. First of all, well done, Mr. Samir.
Thank you.
You
Thank
put me in a chair and left me speechless for a couple of minutes.
No,
Well
no.
done. I really enjoyed it. Really good.
Thank you.
And to continue, those of us who are in education and learning in the supply chain, it's becoming hard, to be honest. It's becoming really hard nowadays to teach.
Yes. Yes.
Let me
Yes.
tell you why. Like many, I deliver training in different countries, especially in Middle East and some European. And you see the difference even between one region and the other, right? But a fundamental thing, which you see the same thing, nowadays, you find yourself that your students know more things than you.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes,
it's
very
becoming
true.
hard. And something which I have, because they come with a lot of empowerment to say things, and you have to give them that space. And as you rightly said, you have to show them other options.
Yes.
Exactly. And the only thing I can cope with that, because it's not easy, believe me, it's not easy, especially
Yes,
with
I
young
know.
generation, to keep them sitting for a couple of hours or minutes or hours. It's not easy. Most of the time they have these gadgets in front of them, and maybe they are not following you, but they are following the gadget. Yeah, it
Yes.
happens all the time in the lecture room, it's even if you say take off the mobile, it's difficult for them to do that. But the thing is, you have to let them speak. I mean, for example, you give them a case study, you let them come with the especially work-based case study, and then once you listen to them, they like to say what they are doing, and then you need to find those spots where you ask your question. Instead, they ask you questions, you ask them questions, but at least to keep them motivated. Bottom line is
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Bottom
Yes.
line is this.
Yes.
You have to give them space nowadays, the young generation.
Yes.
It's difficult to
It's
cope with in a lecture room now. Very
yes.
difficult.
I think we have to re-educate ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
I
In
think
order to
even the seniors now they cannot live without gadgets. So for sitting 2 hours for students is something okay, acceptable. But for even I don't think the senior managers they're adapted to
S-
gadgets.
Since technology have evolved, it has become very difficult for the academia and colleges, institutions to, to sort of find the right mechanism, delivery mechanism, because nowadays they have it all on their gadgets, they have it all. They have it all in their gadgets.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. It's not an easy job, It's not an easy job. Things have
Great,
changed in
great.
education
Yeah.
completely.
Yes.
Yep. Sir, Samirji, I would like to touch one pillar, which is forecast to foresight.
Yeah.
That is something which is very touchy. Okay, so even when you do strategy, business strategy or something, okay, so you can do forecast of your product sales or something by time series or whatever. But what about the foresight? Okay, so AI will help you to do forecast with all
Yeah.
algorithms and all. But
Yeah.
foresight is something which human have to do it.
Yes.
Okay, so to do that, you need to have the clarity of understanding what is your business or operation or department or whatever. Without that, okay, if you depend only on technology, so you will be actually, unlearning the things. And then eventually you will be
100%.
so dependent on the technology
Yes.
that
Yes.
it will become very hard to catch up.
It
Okay,
will become impossible.
impossible to
And
catch up.
I mean, there are pockets in various teams of people who rely a lot on data and information. These guys were very valuable at one time because they could do a lot of analysis. But now what is happening is that they are only looking at their dashboards, and they are coming back to you and saying dashboard is saying this, dashboard is saying that. Previously, they would come back to you with a very detailed analysis that, sir, this is the past data and this is how it's going to go and this is where it's going to go. But those type of people have now got sunk into the algorithm. So they are there. We have to utilize them. We have to leverage their skills. We can't just we should not dump them because they do add value, but their value is slowly becoming more and more limited. So it is people who have foresight. Like I told you, okay, after COVID, we said, okay, people will focus more on health drinks. They will focus more on the juice portfolio, or they will focus more on bottled water. And we built our forecast on the basis of this foresight. Okay, so these are the type of people we need now in every organization. And they are
Fantastic, sir.
harder and harder to find. Let me tell you.
Because they need to have a deeper understanding. Sometimes you have to learn what is that organizational dynamics, the business processes, the market, and all. Only technology will not help. Okay, sir.
Correct.
So thank you. Key takeaways. Please, can you summarize? It's very insightful. I was just connecting things. So insightful. It is always better to hear your lecture once again. Okay, so just give us some kind of key takeaways to the industry leaders, the business executives. So yeah, they can just take away some key thoughts.
2-3 things. One is like I started off between almighty and algorithm. We should know where to draw the line. Yes, algorithms definitely help us. There is no denying that. But we cannot become slaves to algorithms. So that is the first thing that we have to do. We have to maintain our own identity as humans. Second thing is that we should not panic. It's happening in the IT industry. It's happening in a number of industries where there is downsizing happening because AI is coming in a big way. But there should be no panic. We have to reskill. As young people, who are feeling lost, oh God, AI will take up my job. Infosys has got a bench strength of 600 youngsters, who they hired, but they are not able to allocate jobs to them because these jobs just are not available anymore. So these are the guys who need to upskill. They have to live with the times. They have to grow with the times. Today, it is a cusp between human knowledge and human wisdom and AI data. So it is better if they plunge into the AI world and learn to control and manipulate and utilize it as a tool to help them grow in their careers. So number 2 is that there should be no panic. Number 3, I talked a lot about wisdom and presence and all this type of stuff. This thing comes only with experience. This thing, I mean, yes, you have young people who have a lot of wisdom, but there is a lot of things which come only with experience. So my request to youngsters is give yourself as much experience as possible. In your company, don't sit in a silo and say, okay, I'm in accounts, so I will only do accounts work. Go out, meet people from manufacturing, meet people from other functional areas, go with your sales team to meet the customers, to get a better understanding of what's happening and how you as an accountant, can help out. So that comes by experience. And the only way to gain experience is to give yourself experience.
Fantastic. Fantastic concept. I think these organizational silos are created based on the past experiences and then past requirements. Now they are going to go away. So
Yes.
those who are open to learn many things and then redraw the boundaries, okay, for the better performance, those are the one who are going
Yes.
to survive in future. Fantastic. So thank you, sir. Wonderful lecture.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Mr. Kadat. It was wonderful. It was a great experience for me. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Alex for sharing these insights, from the teaching world. Thank you, Alex.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Can I log out now? Can I log out?
Yeah, you can stay, but yeah.
Okay. No, I have actually I have another presentation in the evening.
Okay, sir, no problem. So thank you very much then.
Thank you.
So fantastic session. Yeah, thank you. So I would like to thank on behalf of participants, organizers, and the co-speakers. Thank you, Sameshji, for a wonderful lecture. It is required actually. We cannot only talk about technology and convince ourselves that everything we got it. No. So wisdom part is something which is very crucial and it's very important. So I with that, let us.